What is Plan Over Mood?
It was a way for me to help the women who felt the way that I felt at the beginning of my fitness journey. As a woman, first and foremost, entering the gym, it is very scary. I'm sure men experience the same insecurities or fears, but as a woman entering kind of a male-dominated space, it's very scary. And not even knowing what to do makes it even scarier. So when I entered the gym, didn't know what to do, didn't know what exercises to perform, how to do them. I felt like I was making a fool out of myself all the time. I think everyone is looking for that guide. I definitely was at the beginning, and a lot of people don't want to ask for help, and that was me. I didn't want to ask. I felt too shy. I was embarrassed all the time, and it led to a lot of inconsistency. I would rarely be seen at the gym, and then it got to a point where I had enough.
Diana, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's start with this. What type of person are you? Morning workout, afternoon workout, or evening workout?
That's a good question because I have always been a afternoon workout person up until recently. I started waking up earlier and heading to the gym, and it's been such it's been life. Like life has been good lately. I think if I wait until the evening or the afternoon, I get so antsy being at home working, so I have to get it done in the morning. How about you?
Yeah, I'm the same. I started going to the gym in the afternoons, evenings, but then I realized, because I think it happened to a lot of people. When you go, when you want to go to the gym after work, you sometimes skip it and then, just let's say derail and just stop going to the gym. So I think, early morning workouts are, the best. And I think they have, a really positive effect because you do something difficult right in the morning.
Mhm. Yeah, and you don't have it just, like, weighing on your mind all day. You got it done.
That's right. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about a little bit about the fitness industry, how you got into that world, and about your app, Plan Over Mood. You have quite a name, on social media, both Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. But how did you actually get there? Because I have a feeling that people always see, the end result, but not the whole journey.
Yeah, I started my content creation journey in 2020, and I think that was the prime time just to get familiar with the platforms because everybody was at home, so I really took advantage of being able to film my workouts. I had that extra time, but at the same time, provide information for those people who were a little bit lost on how to navigate the workout world during a time when gyms were closed for a very long period. So, that's when it started, and it took a while for me to kind of, ramp up with the views, the followers, engagement. So, I started first on Instagram, and the climb was very, very slow up until I started on TikTok, and eventually one of my videos just blew up. So, from that, I was really like, "Okay, I gotta be posting all the time," and clearly there's a need for my content and people are gravitating towards it for some reason. And that's when I just fully went full force into this social media world.
W- it's quite difficult, to stick out. It's because there are a lot of other fitness influencers. So what do you think? What made you different from other people?
I think a lot of people gravitated towards the realistic point of view. I I was one of those people who would see fitness content creators or fitness content and it was picture perfect, and I felt that I had to kind of form myself into that, and I think that's why it took me quite a bit of time to finally take off because I was trying to fit into these kind of norms that social media was placing on to the people who create content. And so I just started posting the real stuff. I was posting the last set or me struggling through every single set. The just being real, like really real with my followers, and I think they really gravitated towards that because it was just fresh content and something for them to relate to, something for them to find comfort in. because I'm one to be sweating and red faced in the gym, and not many people may see that, so they just automatically think, "Okay, I gotta have my makeup done, my hair good, I need to not sweat, I need to look picture perfect in the gym," but that's not the reality. The reality of the situation is you grow through struggle, and if you're not showing that struggle, you're never going to experience that strength and that growth that comes from that.
Yeah, I have a feeling, that a lot of other fitness influencers paint a perfect picture, of going to the gym and every other, aspect. But yeah, I mean, if I think people are just looking for genuine content and not something that's, all blushed up and I don't know, all, looking pretty and everything else.
Yeah, they want to feel comfortable. The gym is also a very scary place, so having that expectation to go to the gym and look great all the time is a little bit scary. So take away that expectation and just go to the gym yourself. Go to the gym just to work on yourself, focus on yourself, and get it done. And I think a lot of people can relate to that and find comfort in that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people, just fall off in the first month because, I mean, they don't have the confidence. Let's be real. A lot of them don't even know how to use, the machines or exercise or do what their exercise or whatever. So I think they need to see something real. But okay, so you started off with Instagram, TikTok, and you had what basic workouts. You had your daily vlogs and so on. Is that right?
Yeah, it was primarily workout content, and then I was very scared for some reason to venture out, but obviously you grow outside of your comfort zone. So I eventually pushed myself to start creating some meal content and what I eat in a days. And a lot of people gravitated towards those things because it helped them in their fitness journey. So that's when I started building on that. I was just constantly asking for feedback. What do you guys want to see from me? And how can I best help you? Because that's how it started. That was the main mission. I always wanted to help people from the very beginning. I wanted to help people who felt lost and who felt unmotivated, who felt just like a complete wreck, because that was me. And so, how best I could support people, how best I can give them the content that they needed, that's when I started venturing out more and doing some more lifestyle, more, um, routines, morning routines, or things that will really help motivate people and keep them consistent.
And you can only do so much. I mean, your content can help, to a certain extent. But then you got an idea to make an app, Plan Over Mood. What is Plan Over Mood?
Yeah, it came from the saying, "We don't follow the mood, we follow the plan." That was something that I just said on a whim. It's obviously a very well-known quote, but when I was on TikTok one day, I was just ranting and I just said the phrase and people really gravitated towards that. And that phrase was something that took me out of my own rut. So I I really believed in that phrase, and when I said it and people gravitated towards it, it was such a movement for me, and then people kept saying it in my comments, they're like, "Plan over mood," and we shortened it into that phrase, so that's where the app name came to be. It actually was supposed to have many different names,
Like? Like what?
yeah, one in particular was Keep Pushing,
Okay.
which we we were gonna go with, but we had some trademarking issues with that, which honestly all worked out in the end because Plan Over Mood meant something more to me than Keep Pushing. Keep Pushing still means something to me because I say it all the time, but Plan Over Mood was something that really stuck with me and my community. And it was my way of kind of giving back to my community in a sense. When I first started with the concept of the app, I started as very basic. I was offering PDF files where people can download and follow a 4-week workout split, which was great at the time because I was able to help my community as best as I could with the resources that I had at the time. But as we grew, I was able to kind of bring my dream to life and start offering a workout app that people could get more engaged with and that could really help fuel somebody's workout journey.
Yeah, and I mean the name itself. A lot of people think that they have to be in the right mood, but sometimes you don't want to get out of bed. Let's say, it's 5 degrees Celsius, it's raining, and you have to go to the gym. I think, for a lot of people, even those who go to the gym very often, I think the better option is to stay in your bed if you're
Oh,
going
yeah.
in the morning. But if you have a plan and let's say ignore that bad mood, I think, you're gonna have much better results.
Yeah, and that's when I was stuck in a rut for a while, and that's why I say the phrase really took me out of that rut. Because when I was going through that period in my life, I was following everything my mood was telling me to do. If I did not wanna get out of bed, did not get out of bed. If I wanted to stay on the couch instead of going to the gym, I was doing it. And it just fed the cycle of negativity. Every single time that I gave into the mood, it maybe felt great in the moment because I didn't have to do the hard stuff, but immediately after, what came was the guilt. It was, "I'm not good enough. I'm not keeping consistent with anything. I can't keep a plan for the life of me." And it was just a constant cycle of negativity, and at one point, I had enough, and I just had to get out of it, and that's when I picked myself up. I said, "You know what? If I don't wanna do it, I'm gonna do it anyways, because my mood is not going to dictate my life." And that's what really fueled me, and I think what fuels a lot of people because it's a relatable feeling. Nobody wants to go to the gym most of the time. Motivation is useless. You have to keep disciplined, and the discipline comes from following the plan and not the mood.
Yeah, and I think what you just said, a lot of beginners, I think they just stop going to the gym when they miss a session once or twice. The same happens, for experienced people. And I think, you have two different sides, but that have two problems. So somebody who's a beginner, if they're not in a mood, they're not going to go to the gym. They're not, they're just going to stop training. And the same trap goes for, experienced people.
Yeah, it's a relatable feeling. It's a common feeling that everyone, no matter what stage in their journey, feels. And sharing that feeling with other people is also very relatable. So they really take to that. And it's funny too because a lot of people ask, a lot of fitness content creators, how do you stay motivated? And all the time, our answer is the same. Motivation comes and goes. It's the discipline that stays, and you just have to create a workout plan, a workout split that you stick to every single day, and you follow that plan and not your mood. Obviously, there's going to be those days where you physically can't or you're too fatigued. Take those rest days, but it's finding that difference between having an excuse or having a legitimate excuse and just following the plan.
Okay, let's talk about the app itself. What's the concept behind it?
So like the mission behind the app.
Yeah, we can start with that.
Okay, yeah, the mission behind the app was it was a way for me to not only give back to my community, but it was a way for me to help the women who felt the way that I felt at the beginning of my fitness journey. At the beginning, as a woman, first and foremost, entering the gym, it is very scary. I'm sure men experience the same insecurities or fears. But as a woman entering kind of a male dominated space, it's very scary. And not even knowing what to do makes it even scarier. So when I entered the gym, didn't know what to do, didn't know what exercises to perform, how to do them. I felt like I was making a fool out of myself all the time. And so I just felt defeated, lost. I didn't know what I was doing. And I remember that feeling so well. And I carry that with me forever because it keeps me grounded and it reminds me that this is the mission behind everything. I knew at that moment when I got past this hard part, I'm going to help women who feel the way that I do. And I'm going to help prevent them from feeling the way that I do forever. So that's where it started, and I think the Plan Over Mood app has done that for a lot of women so far, and I can't wait to continue growing it and keep sharing it with more and more women and helping more women worldwide because it has all the tools that you need to start your journey and keep consistent. And I'm excited to see how the women with this app grow.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are really what you said, afraid of going to a gym. I remember one time when I was in my gym, there was one girl, never saw her. She was trying to use, the Smith machine. And I could tell, that she was struggling. She, wasn't really sure what to do. And, I told her, do you need help? Well, yeah, please. And then she said, are there any, coaches here that can help me out? I said, sorry, this is a gym with no coaches. And that's the last time I saw her. So that was probably, the moment that she said, I don't know what I'm doing and that this is not for me. And I think your app, helps people that have problems like that.
Yeah, I think everyone is looking for that guide. I definitely was at the beginning, and I think I mean, kudos to her because she asked for help. A lot of people don't wanna ask for help, and that was me. I didn't wanna ask. I felt too shy. I was embarrassed all the time, and it led to a lot of inconsistency. I would rarely be seen at the gym, and then it got to a point where I had enough and I had to keep consistent to something, and I'm very grateful for that. So if this app could be in any way a help to any person who feels a little bit scared or intimidated by the gym, I think it can really go a long way. Because the first step is giving people the plan. A lot of people enter the gym without a plan and they're kind of just like, should I use this machine? What exercise should I do? And then feeling lost and looking around gives into the feeling that I'm being watched and I need to get into a small little corner in the gym and disappear. So I think the app really helps with that. It gives them the plan, it gives them the exercises, the demonstration videos, the descriptions behind those exercises. It really prepares them so that when they enter that uncertain situation, they have that sense of certainty that they can get started and keep to it.
Right. So you offer structured programs for both beginners and experienced.
Yes. Yeah. We offer a lot of different programs based on goal, based on experience level, and based on where specifically you want to train. So we have beginner and experienced programs. We have programs that focus on lower body, upper body, full body, whatever your goal is. And we also have cardio training and ab training and core training within that because those are definitely important tools as well. And then lastly, we have home programs, free weight programs if you just want to use dumbbells or you only have access to dumbbells, and we have those gym-based programs.
For somebody who's inexperienced, what's the optimal, how many times a week should you go to the gym?
Yeah, I always suggest 2 or 3 times a week. Start out at a reasonable pace. You don't wanna go from 0 to 100. So, maybe start out with 2 days a week, and then once you really got that down and got that part of your schedule, maybe increase it by 1 day, and then see where you can go from there. You don't wanna go 0 to 100 because you're never going to keep consistent with that. It's kinda just throwing yourself into an uncertain situation and putting too much load on yourself right at the beginning. You also don't wanna be so overly sore and overtraining your body, so you wanna ease into it as with anything in life. So 2 to 3 times a week for sure.
And then it goes, progressively. If let's say if you want to increase the load.
Yeah, I started with 2 to 3 times a week as a beginner, and that was perfect at the time, and then when I wanted to take it up a level and continue to progress, I slowly increased to 4 days a week, and then now we're at the 5 days a week.
Right. What happens if, let's say, you have a 5-day workout program and I don't know, you skip Thursday? Should you, do the workout day after, or is it better, all right, I've skipped it and that's it. I'm just going to continue with whatever is coming next.
I would honestly myself, when that happens to me, I do it the next day. I wanna get right back on track. There's no point in procrastinating or kind of pushing it off. You can just get right back onto it. It's kinda like with maybe the holiday season when you eat out of your usual meal plan. A lot of people get discouraged by that, but you're allowed to have those bumps in the road, but you also find comfort in knowing that once those are done, once those couple days are past, you're right back on track and no progress is lost because that consistency remains.
What do you think? When can a person know? When can they know when are they ready for the next level? By that I mean, all right. So I don't know. I squatted 110 pounds. when is the time for me to increase the load? Because I think a lot of people, they suddenly increase the load too much when they feel too confident, and that leads to injury, right?
Yeah, you definitely wanna prepare your body and train it for those progressive increases. So, um, if you're, for example, squatting the 100 and you wanna move to 110, I would say that you should probably make sure that you got a good amount of reps in you for the 100 to prepare you for the 110. I would say if you can do, like, 8 or 10 reps or even 6 to 8, try out for the 110, try increasing a little bit. That's what I do with my own training because progressive overload is the foundation of my training. And if I'm split squatting 40 pounds and I can do 10 to 12 reps, I know that I got 45 pounds in me. So I keep pushing and obviously listen to your body. If you feel like it's too much, drop the weight and maybe you'll try it next week. Don't be discouraged by that, but just constantly try to improve every single time you're in the gym.
How can somebody track their progress in your app?
Yeah, so we track progress over time. So every single statistic or data piece that a person inputs into the app is stored over long term, forever. So every weight that you use, every set and rep that you do for every single exercise, it's stored, and you can access it at any point. And I think one of my favorite features of the app of how it tracks progress is that when you're on your workout screen, you can automatically see what weight you used last week. So you don't need to go anywhere else. You don't need to exit your workout or, leave the screen. It's on there. You know what you did last week and you know how to progress. So if I did 50 pounds for my first set of split squats last week, I see that this week and I know that maybe I can increase it 5 pounds. So it's such a nice tool to have so that you can consistently progress. And if progressive overload is a huge part of your training, this is definitely a simple way to do it.
Yeah, definitely best thing, to write it down because I think we've all been through it. All right, last week, I don't know, I did XY, amount of pounds in my squat, and you forget about that by next week. So you come to the gym next week, do the same workout, and it was how much was it last week? I don't remember. And then put the weights, do the workout, and then when you're done with the workout, you realize, oh, it was actually a little bit more last time, but I completely forgot about that. And your
Yeah.
actor, helps people, not make those mistakes.
And sometimes you wanna take the easy way out. So if you don't remember, you're like, "Oh, maybe it was lighter," And then you go lighter and kinda take that easy way, but this app keeps you accountable of that. So it's definitely my favorite feature by far.
All right. How was it, building the app? Because it has a lot of content, and by the looks of it, it also, it required a huge amount of your, fitness knowledge from your side. So how was it, because you had to really involve yourself into the whole process of building the app.
Yeah, so I this is something that I'm really proud of and something that I found very important was I was 100% involved in all the program structuring, all the exercise videos, all the exercise descriptions, every part of the app, all the content, I was 100% involved in. And, it's very easy to kinda be like, "Okay, let's have someone else be the figure behind the screen." But we filmed all, like, 300 exercises. We I wrote out exercise descriptions for every single one of those exercises, um, and I structured every single workout program, and that took 2 years to make, to get all that content ready. It was a long time, and there were a lot of bumps along the way, but I wouldn't have it any other way because if someone's going to be involved in this app and start using it and start paying for it, I wanna make sure that they get my my content and how I would 100% structure my programs.
All right, so you offer also, let's say, body weight exercises and weight exercise, right?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I do both, and I wanted to make sure that I did both. We originally had just gym-based because I wanted to push out the app as soon as possible and get the app in people's hands, but we made the decision to pause and take some extra time to include those body weight and those free weight exercises so that everyone can be included. I I already knew the questions that I was going to be asked. It was gonna be, "Can we do it at home?" Or, "If we don't have access to a gym, can we still do it?" And I wanna make sure that everyone has the opportunity to do that and I can help as many people as possible. So that was definitely a big priority of ours.
Can you combine those two types of exercises? I'm asking that because let's say I don't have time to go to the gym today, so I can do a quick, I don't know, 20-minute workout at home.
Yeah, so we that's for our single workouts. So we have a programs page and then we have single workouts where you can add on those workouts, or if you don't have time to go to the gym or anything, you can check out the single workouts page, and that's where you can work on your cardio, your abs, or you can do some hit workouts. There's definitely some body weight and free weights exercises on that tab that people can always access at any point.
Yeah, that's great because we can go back to the thing that we were talking about in the beginning. If you miss one, two, three, your training sessions, you're easily gonna derail, and it's gonna be tough, to get back on track.
Yeah, and what's really cool about the calendar within the app too is you can reschedule it at any point. So if you miss a workout, it's not missed forever. You can always push it to the next day or, rearrange those workouts according to your schedule. That's a big thing for me too because some days I won't be able to make it to the gym, so I'll just push that workout the next day and make sure that it's completed. I also am so particular about my calendar, so I want to make sure all the things are completed. So it makes sure that I can push it and complete it and it looks, perfect.
The app just came out recently, and you just offer right now. You offer workouts, but do you have any other plans in the future? I know that you do a lot of cooking videos, recipes, and stuff like that. So do you have something like that in plan, or
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of plans for the future. We are getting a lot of feedback from users, which is always great because that's how we started at the beginning, me getting feedback from people wanting to know what they need in their fitness journey. So we've been collecting all that feedback and we're definitely going to be adding some new features, new developments that will help people even further. I don't wanna give away too much, but I know meal plans is something big on people's minds, and a lot of people gravitate towards my cooking videos as well because it helps them with their meal plans. So that's definitely in the books, but I'm not gonna share too much detail.
yeah, one thing that we have to mention is diet because there's a saying, abs are made in the kitchen, and I think a lot of people don't just think if I go to the gym, everything's gonna be fine. I'm gonna have a great body, but that's just I think half of the work.
Yeah. A lot of people it's I think it's commonly said that the gym is 20% and then 80% is what you fill your body with, and it couldn't be truer. You gotta keep track of everything you're putting into your body, make sure you're having whole foods, nutritious foods that will keep you full and satiated, and as well as keeping track of your protein. Protein is a great source for muscle growth, but it's also a great way of keeping satiated with the meals that you're consuming. So definitely diet is a huge part of it, and that's why I think the next feature has to be something meal related.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense, if you do, let's say, a 40-minute cardio workout, burn, I don't know, 500 calories, and then go home, eat a bag of chips, chocolate bar, or I don't know, Coke, drink Coke or something like that. Doesn't really make any sense, because if you're feeding your body with junk, it's gonna respond the same way.
Yeah, I'm definitely one to follow the 80/20 rule as well. So I I follow the 80% of it is me keeping to my whole nutritious foods, my high protein meals, and making sure that I'm fueling my body with what it needs to perform its best. But then the 20% is that flexibility. So you can obviously a lot of people have that idea that once you start your fitness journey, you cannot indulge in anything you like and you have to be so strict. But that's not the case at all. You that 20% you can, go out for a meal with your friends and family. You don't have to miss out on that. You can have dessert with your significant other. You can go out for ice cream. Like I have a little treat at the end of the night every single night and it's how I keep consistent. It's the flexibility that will keep you going for the long term as well.
Yeah, just keep everything in normal lines, and it's gonna turn out good. All right. So, what advice would you give to somebody? All right, let's first start with this. With somebody who's just starting out.
Um, I would say to just start. I think that was the biggest hurdle that I had to overcome. Um, I felt like I had to have it all in order. I had to have all the knowledge in the world about fitness. I had to know every single exercise and how to perform it. I needed to know the ins and out of fitness before I could even start. You're never going to know everything. And I think the more time you give yourself to learn the gym, learn different exercises and get familiar with equipment, the easier it will get. And so just start, even if you feel unprepared, just begin with something. You know, grab a workout split and begin with that. And if it's not working, change it along the way. You're going to learn as you go. There's no point in putting all this pressure on you to know everything and be 100% prepared. I'm never 100% prepared. No one is. So just start and you will learn along the way.
And I also think it's really important just to get a routine. You know, just when you start going to the gym after a month or two, you just have to get into that routine because if you skip sessions, you're not never gonna get it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was one thing that I always pushed off at the beginning too is was that routine. I think everyone needs to have a routine of some sort. A workout program is definitely the best tool to have. Entering the gym with an actual plan, like we talked about at the beginning, it helps to make sure that you follow through with that plan and you don't give into the mood. If you go into the gym and you don't know what to do, and it's kind of maybe a chaotic gym day and everyone's there, it's messy, you're gonna feel lost, and more often than not, you're probably gonna exit the gym feeling unfulfilled or unsatisfied with that workout. So, create that plan and enter the gym prepared so that you know what you're doing and you don't have to second guess yourself.
Yeah. What would you say to somebody who's a bit more experienced? What should they look out for?
Um, I would say to not not give in to unrealistic expectations, but also not to give up on the plateau. I know a lot of people maybe get in a rut or maybe feel a little bit stuck that they're not progressing and they find themselves a little bit discouraged by that. And I also find that a lot of people stop at that point. It's when it gets tough when a lot of people will kind of say, "It's not for me. Let's stop it here." It's actually that difficult part where if you keep pushing, you will experience the growth that you've always wanted to see. It's kind of that stuck moment, that part where you're in that rut that determines whether or not you're going to fall back on the person that you maybe thought negatively of or the person that you always wanted to become. So just keep pushing no matter what and set realistic expectations. I know social media is a big a big thing for a lot of people. A lot of people look on social media and say, "Who can I compare myself to?" And I want that body type, but she says that she achieved it within 4 weeks. That's unrealistic. Don't believe any of that nonsense. Focus on your own journey, set realistic expectations based on your own journey, and you'll be more fulfilled and more disciplined in the long run.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it goes the same for beginners and experienced, people. Uh, Compete with yourself, not with somebody else.
Oh yeah, 100%. A lot of people get stuck in the comparison cycle. I do too. I think everyone, it's just natural behavior. You want to be the best person in the room, but you need you need people who will uplift you, but at the same time, you need to follow your own goals. You need to set your own expectations. A lot of people will compare themselves to people who they don't even know half the story. Like, maybe this person achieved the body type by going about unhealthy standards or unhealthy lifestyles. So you don't want to be following in that person's footsteps. You want to do what's good for you. So just focus on comparing yourself to who you were last time. It's kind of like the progress tracking within the app. Compare to what you did last week and keep progressing from there and only focus on you.
Diana, thank you very much. Thank you for being a guest on our show, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.